everyone, this is Madison Star Moon. I live in Hampton Roads, Virginia, a metropolitan area of 7 cities with a population of about 1.6 million. It is located where the Chesapeake Bay meets the Atlantic Ocean. It is similar to most urban areas on the East Coast with one major exception. It is essentially a company town, and that company is the United States Navy. Naval Station Norfolk is the world's largest Navy base, and there are 14 other military bases and facilities in the area. My home is in Virginia Beach, which hosts Oceana Naval Air Station, the most sophisticated, operationally productive, and critical air station in the U.S. Navy. It is home to 11 FA-18 Hornet squadrons and 7 of the 10 Super Hornet squadrons. The area station encompasses 6,000 acres with 7 miles of runways. You can imagine what the place sounds like. Complaints about noise pollution go largely ignored, and with an active duty and civilian workforce of 150,000, it's not surprising that the area is extremely military friendly. Probably the most common bumper sticker on Virginia Beach cars is "I heart jet noise, the sound of freedom." I suppose this perspective is somewhat understandable from an economic standpoint, but this blind support from locals allows the Navy to get away with a "we can do whatever we want and don't have to tell you anything" attitude. Ironically, it was not what I heard that raised my interest. It is what I saw over the skies of Virginia Beach. To date, no one in any position of authority has investigated my formerly filed complaints. Agency switching and I know nothing practices are a perfect cover for inaction and apparently the fallback position in all government offices charged with protecting air quality. Virginia Beach stays overcast or covered with chemtrails for weeks at a time. Airplanes blanket the sky with layers of plumes that create artificially overcast conditions. But weather authorities deny that aircraft activity is a factor. They refer to chemtrails as contrail cirrus. Meteorologists refer to chemtrails as linear clouds, while NASA creates many names for what they claim are new cloud formations. I never saw any chemtrails, chembos, or chemclouds when I was a kid. There was plenty of aircraft activity back then, so why didn't emissions persist then as they do now? What changed? I've come to believe that there is an insidious agenda being perpetrated on unsuspecting populations. Convoys of spraying planes are blanketing the skies with toxic chemicals and heavy metals. Witnessing that destruction of the environment on a daily basis changed me. At that point in time, for the first time in my life, I became an activist. I was determined to devote my time, energy, and passion to the mission of uncovering the truth about chemtrails. When I asked what those trails in the sky were, I generally heard the commonly understood answer, "It's jet exhaust." Even at that level, I was surprised that no one seemed concerned about exhaust lingering in the sky for hours. But others assured me the trails were just water vapor and that they would dissipate eventually. Some even had names for the water vapor. They called them contrails. But how could something so innocent sounding look so disturbing? Why were the trails failing to dissipate even after hours? Could there be more here than meets the eye? Literally? So I looked through the yellow pages, searching for environmental engineers and atmospheric scientists who could tell me what was really going on. No source had any information. No one even used the word contrail or referred me to someone else who might have the answer. The topic appeared to be off everyone's radar. So I called the EPA, who graciously took a message and promised to call me back. That call never came. I tried to contact the agency repeatedly, but found myself shuttled to non-functioning numbers, departments that didn't handle those issues, and their favorite device, putting me on hold and never coming back. When all else failed, they just hung up. I finally got through to someone at the EPA who agreed to actually help me. My request to have my roof and soil tested was passed along to the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality. That state agency contacted the Virginia Beach Health Department, which agreed to do the testing. I was finally getting somewhere. I contacted the media to document the procedure when the Department of Environmental Quality suddenly backed out. Their reason: state funds could not be used to test for heavy metals or biological materials. Omission is failure to act, negligence in the face of something you are legally and morally obligated to do. The American government is failing to act. No agency regulates aircraft emissions? How can this be? Who regulates military flights? I've reported spraying planes to Naval Air Station Oceana, Naval Air Norfolk, Dam Neck Naval Air Annex, NASA Langley Air, and the Department of Defense. They all ignored and dismissed my complaints and informed me that they regulate themselves. That's right, they regulate themselves. I reported the military for fuel dumping, which I witnessed from my house. They refused to even take a report or document the event. They referred me to the noise complaint hotline, which of course had nothing to do with fuel dumping. So much for self-regulation. Let me pause to say that many times representatives of the military and every level of government have been polite and kind. It is the structure of the system that is broken. They withhold information or stonewall because they are required to do so. And of course, answering uncomfortable questions is inconvenient, and it requires representatives to put up with persistent and confrontational investigators, which is why we must continue to push for answers.
Look at this. This is just crazy and insane. And there's no reason why I should even have to stand out here and make a video to explain to anyone why this is wrong.